No! No! You! But I want to. Hello, Grand fans. It's GrandFan Friday on Victoriously Crazy Podcast. I'm Marilyn Harris.
And I'm Percy Smith.
We have a wonderful guest for you.
Go ahead.
Oops, this mic almost fell. I've known Anna for many years, and Percy and I are very excited to get to know her better. Right, Percy?
That's right.
Hello, Anna Chen.
Anna.
Hello.
What a sweetheart you are.
Yes, Thank you.
Welcome to Victoriously Crazy Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Before we ask you any questions, if you're watching, you see she's wearing a mask. That's because Anna doesn't want her face on social media.
If I could just mention really quickly, this is not just any GrandFan Friday, because what we've got coming up next week.
Oh, that's right.
We're on our layover. You know, this was GrandFan Friday, but we are in GrandFanada today.
GrandFanada. That's right.
Oh my goodness, that's brilliant. Or that's Brill. That's what I say to stay young. That's Brill.
That's Brill.
Oh, I love it.
That's real for real.
Yeah, we're on a layover. We're going to be going to Yerba, right?
Yerba.
From GrandFanada
of Canada.
All right, let me grab my passport.
Yeah. Get your passport. Get your passport.
We went on a plane to talk about the episode Wi-Fi in the Sky. We didn't tell you where our trip was. We took the layover to GrandFanada to see Anna in Canada.
Oh, my rhymes are right.
And then next Wednesday, April 12th, we will arrive in Yerba to visit a very special guest.
Yes.
Or I like to call it Yerba.
Yerba.
Don't forget the Yerba.
You do that role so well, Percy.
You know
that's something.
I can't do it.
And it works too so well that your dad's was a pilot, because that fits in with our GrandFanada.
Oh my God, it does.
Yeah.
You'll fly me down.
That's right. This is the perfect package.
All right. Now.
It really is. And Anna, before we get into questions, tell us about your Victorious experience. Were you always a fan?
Yeah, I actually don't really know the year of the timelines. I just remember when the show came out. I believe it came out it was way after Zoe 101 and iCarly. But I grew up watching Nick, as everyone does, and everyone grows up watching Disney, and I was always more of a fan of the Nick shows.
Yeah.
And I remember with Victorious in general, when I heard that Victoria Justice was starring in it, I was her biggest fan of her character in the Zoe 101 show. So I was even more excited. And in general, I actually remember a comment someone made on when Victoria stopped filming, which was Victorious had the music that was like appropriate. Like it was pop music that wasn't explicit. It wasn't about drugs or sex or all of this other stuff that all music is about these days. Except for recent songs by Jax right now. And I was just like, that's so true. I had like a healthy representation of music that I could dance to and listen to and feel like happy with. And that's my association with the show.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite episode and favorite character?
So the I think it was called the Bitma, like, so Ariana Grande's character Kat was really addicted to the Bip or whatever it's called.
Oh, I know that. It's some kind of candy or something, right?
Yeah, and it was in the show when Make It in America, when that song came out. That was one of my favorite episodes. Also Roborazzi, specifically because I've always been attracted to like the nerdy characters and nerd. And Robbie was always like kind of like suppressed or oppressed, or it's just everyone was just like, whatever, it's Robbie or whatever, he's not that special or important. And I'm like, yes he is, and he's proving it. Those are my favorite. And of course any of the episodes that you were in.
Oh,
thank you. Anything else you'd like to share about Victorious before we move on?
No, honestly, it's just one of those shows that's so heartfelt and so genuine.
Yes.
And the episode where Jade and Tori had to like have a date because they had to play husband and wife in a play. I actually recently watched that again. And they had to sing that song was oh man, I can't remember the name of it again, but
Bennett, you know.
Tori and Jade's Playdate, and the other one you mentioned with the Bibble was Tori Goes Platinum.
Thank you.
Wow.
And take a hint, that
You
song.
are so impressive, Bennett.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you,
All
Bennett.
right.
That's nice.
But, like,
I love, oh my God. Bennett is so impressive.
He's always in.
Not about me. Thank you.
he's a big fan.
Yeah, man. Shoot.
Nice.
Nice.
So you ready for some questions?
Yes.
All right.
All right, here we go. We met at an audition for America's Got Talent. I remember there was like a lot of people there from all over the United States. It was very exciting. What inspired you to come to Los Angeles for an audition?
So I had some friends that traveled with me. We drove from Seattle to Los Angeles, and that was crazy in itself. And my dad let me borrow his car. And when we were driving down, we were driving through San Francisco during Super Bowl. So traffic was absolutely insane. And I was scared of totaling my dad's car. But my friends were singers and wanted to audition for music. And I'm a writer. At the time, I was very active in writings. And I remember hearing Simon Cowell say that, in like an audition or one of the segments of the show, that he looks for people that they've never seen before. And I've noticed they've never had writers on the show. I wholeheartedly believe that writing is both a talent and a skill.
It is.
So I was reciting some of my poetry that's won awards and certifications, and some of my short stories. I unfortunately did not get through, but it was, in general, is an excellent life experience, and that's what matters the most to me.
Wow, that was great. Have you always had a desire to perform?
God, no. God, no.
That answered that.
I'm the same with my company. I will so happily and joyously support other people's success and be in the background and watch them fly.
That's true.
I do not want to be in the spotlight at all. My father's a politician, so we're constantly in the spotlight politically.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so incredibly difficult growing up with. And that was just like in my later teen years. So I appreciate the people that can sacrifice their privacy in order to be in the spotlight.
Wow. So he's a pilot and a politician, huh?
Yeah,
A
there's gotta be
pilotician.
another P in
A
there.
pilotician.
Well, no.
He must be
His middle name
pretty.
is Peter.
Oh, Peter.
Oh, come on.
Peter, the pilot
Peter, the
politician.
politician.
Yeah. But no, he's a pilot privately. He started a company. He actually created the barcoding and mobile computer middleman industry. So back like in the 90s, and he scaled his business internationally, and he was able to be successful enough where he could buy a plane and learn to become a pilot, and it's his most dedicated passion. He's flown his plane all the way down to Guatemala.
Wow, how impressive.
Yeah, so
He
in other
must be
words,
so proud of
in other
her.
words, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And
He is actually. I don't know his.
He's gotta be, man.
And a brilliant daughter.
What you talking about over here?
Well, really, a fun thing about my dad is that he had a framed rejection letter from a big business school in Australia, where he's from, in his office, because the business school told him that he would never be successful in business. And he ended up creating an industry and becoming incredibly huge.
Yeah, so there.
So I grew up with that.
Yeah.
I grew up with that positive influence, and you can do anything you want.
That's right.
That explains a lot about you.
Amen. Yeah.
It really does, because you are a go-getter, girl.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
I admired the way that you just walked up to me in person and introduced yourself during the open audition. And I was doing stand-up at the time. So I practiced my intro rap on you. Do you remember that? I just started rapping. I had her trapped. So, you already mentioned what talent you wanted to share during your audition, but what about your friends? Were they auditioning too? What were they going to do?
Yeah, they were doing the music, and they sung. I think one person, so One of my friends, she got through to the next round but didn't make it past that round.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my friends didn't make it through any round, and they took it really hard.
Yeah. It's a lot of rejection in entertainment. I didn't get past the first round because I told a joke in a room of about 8 comedians that totally bombed.
An interesting memory, actually, now thinking about it from the AGT audition, is that they were interested in something about me that wasn't really about my audition. And so they wanted to place me, like they kept placing me to this other guy, who I'm actually really good friends with now.
Oh, nice.
But I'm very friendly. But they wanted me to like have him interview me and have it seem like a casual conversation. And I'm the kind of person that would rather hear other people talk about themselves and their own dreams. So they kept telling me that I'm supposed to talk about myself when I kept asking about him, and then they're like, okay, never mind, we can't do this.
You were interviewing him.
Well, like, you know, I like hearing about people talk about their dreams and their passions. That's like it's fascinating to me.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
She's a nice person.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, did you learn anything from the experience?
From AGT? Oh yeah, I learned how reality shows are like, and I never want to audition.
Never do that again, okay?
But I mean, honestly, I don't know how much we're allowed to talk about because I don't remember the length of the
it's been at
NDA
least
contract was
8 years. It's been a while.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's been a while.
Yeah, it's like I don't even think it's totally different judges now, right? So
I think Simon's still there.
Yeah, because it was 2015, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been 8 years.
We're all safe.
Yeah, they'll see that and be like, who? What?
I know. Oh,
Trust me, if you listen to my podcast and the things people talk about on there, you'd be completely fine to say what you're probably gonna say.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast, Bennett.
I have an American Idol podcast where I interview contestants who weren't aired on the show. So they come on and they share their experience, and there's a vast range. And lately there have been quite a few who have had a not so positive experience that are very honest about their time on the show. So my life for the past couple of weeks has been hearing people come on and tell me what they experienced on set. So
my friend that I met at AGT was on American Idol, so now I'm intrigued.
Oh
yeah.
See there?
Yeah, check out his podcast.
Check it out. All right, switching gears. You are now a business owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about Gourmet Groceries.
I like the way you put a spin to that.
Yeah.
Gourmet Groceries, so gourmetgroceries.ca or Gourmet Groceries Canada, if people look me up on Facebook. So I started my company, like long story short, my cousin was turning 50 and he values supporting local and gourmet food just as much as I do. And so because 50 is such an important incremental number in age,
yes,
I wanted to get him a gift where I could get him a gourmet food product from every single province in Canada, which I believe is 10 provinces.
Wow.
There's lots of like local stores or places that advertise that they sell local products, and that's great, but they don't tell you where those products are from. And there's actually a local farm store to him that says, oh, we sell everything Canadian, we're a local farm place, like everything we sell is from local products. Like it really emphasizes the local part. But 60% of their products were from Europe and 20% were from the States. And I had a really hard time figuring out which ones were actually local unless I already knew what the brand was.
Yeah.
Oh.
So shopping local is so important in order to empower and enrich our economy, not just like Canada local, but like for you guys, you live in Los Angeles. It's important for you guys to support your independent small businesses there.
Yes.
And that's how we build a wealthier country and a wealthier community, because that money goes back into the community. It doesn't go into corporate profits and pockets. So I was really frustrated at that and started doing some research, which ended up in me realizing that there's it's such a big gap in the industry, and it's more people are more focused on profiting off of small businesses rather than helping empower them. So that's where I created my company. I created it where people can shop. Everything I sell is made in Canada, not designed in Canada, not a Canadian company. It's made and manufactured in Canada.
All right. All right.
I haven't seen anything like that before. And a big focus on it too is that you can shop by province. So a lot of my products come from BC because that's where I'm based, or Ontario because Ontario is full of food innovations. But people can be connected to where their food is made.
Wow.
That is absolutely brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
I don't think anyone has ever done that before.
Not that I can find.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's an innovator.
You're just like your dad.
Like your daddy.
I'm just fascinated by
I'm
that.
trying to tell you, right?
And when you do something that no one has ever done before, then you're like a pioneer. You get to set how that goes down, which direction to take. Do this, don't do that. It must be quite a learning experience for you.
Yeah, well, when I've actually been interviewing like all the brands that I would take on and everything, so they would tell me about their difficulties with the bigger corporate stores, and I won't name them because I don't want to like get into an issue, but
yes,
just Google Canada corporate grocery stores, lots will come up, especially right now. But there's so many things that consumers don't know about. Like a big one is that a very large grocery chain in Canada will have like a featured local stand. So like they'll say like, buy this product, it's local. But they've coerced the company into giving them free product on the promise that if it sells well, we'll bring you in. But you'll never see those products again because they got that product for free and then they're just going over to the next person. So they get 100% profit.
Wow. That sounds like a hustle.
It is a hustle for these people that have big, deep pockets. Or other times too is like, if you go to a grocery store and you see not the employee stocking the shelves, but you see like a manufacturer representation of the manufacturer.
Yes, I've seen
that.
So even big companies like Frito-Lay will do this. So the reason why is because if a store employee or a customer damages a product, it comes out of the invoice from the manufacturer. It's not subsidized or paid for by the people responsible, which is the store.
Wow. So to make sure that they don't have that issue, they stock it themselves.
Yeah. Or another thing too, like there's so much I could go off of. But another thing too is like a good friend of mine who's also one of my vendors. She got a huge deal over the holidays to be into really big chain stores, not a grocery store. It's like a specialty like gift type of store. I can't say too much, of course, but and they owe her $10,000 and have owed her that money for 8 months.
Wow, I would be going crazy if someone owed me that much money for that length of time.
Yeah, and they have been holding it over her head because it's a privilege to be in their stores.
Oh, come on.
So it's like a David versus Goliath type of a situation.
Oh, privilege. Oh, that makes me mad. That burns
me.
That chaps my hide.
Wow.
It's a huge account too, because if she said or anything, if I even mentioned the name on here, like she could get in so much trouble. She could like not be able to be in other bigger stores.
Right.
Or like there's stores that will like charge like vendors to demo, for example, and would like demo their products and give away free samples. Like they charge for that. Or there's another store too that I spoke with another company based out in Ontario with. So every single time, and this is a big chain store, every single time they do a store renovation, they will bill those small brands, not like big brands like Frito-Lay or Mondelez, but those small brands, they'll bill them between $1,000 to $5,000 every quarter to pay for their store renovations, which completely negates the invoices or profit they would have made.
It's almost like a pimp situation.
Yeah.
Not to be crass.
Oh no,
the whole industry is disgusting. And I created my company, yes, to connect consumers to where their products are made, but also to completely go against the industry standards. It's about time someone did and actually put the vendor and the people first, not profits. I don't put profits first at all.
So when they hear your name, they must shiver and quiver because they know that you're an advocate. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they do.
You sound so knowledgeable about what you're doing, and I hear the determination in your voice. It's like you're not playing games here.
Yeah, they get off the phone. They be
like what you're doing.
Yeah, they get off the phone with her like we're in trouble here. We have someone that's contending with us, and I don't know how to answer her, so I just say okay.
And she's young, so that means she's not going to go away.
Not gonna.
Nope. And I come from the business industry lineage. So if I have questions, Dad, how do I deal with this?
I love that about you. I love that. So how did you come up with the name of your company, Gourmet Groceries?
So it was actually originally your local farmers market, and then I bought that domain, but I couldn't register that domain.
Right.
And it also makes sense too, because the local farmers market is more actually centralized and local, not like across the board. And then I started thinking, well, all of my products are definitely not like your regular produce or regular like items. Like they're premium products, because I eventually ended up going into the all natural route, because I also noticed that there was no one store that is all natural in the sense in all together. There's always just those sections in grocery stores.
Right.
So everything I sell is free of corn syrup, artificial dyes and artificial flavors, MSG and preservatives, aside from like salt, like a natural preservative. And I was like, well, all of my products are premium products and they're gourmet, and I'm selling groceries. So there we go. GourmetGroceries.com was taken, but that is actually a European company, so I wasn't really worried. And then gourmetgroceries.ca, when I got that domain, I was just like, heck yeah, this is and I had a vendor be like, how'd you get that domain? And I'm like, I don't know.
You were blessed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She reminds me of Bennett, because she was thinking.
Yeah, that's his favorite phrase.
That's his tagline. I was just thinking.
I mean, that's what I love about GrandFans. You guys are young,
smart,
you're innovative, you're fighters, and you are just bursting with ideas. I love that. I love that about you, Anna. I really do.
Yeah, you could sense it. You could feel it.
She's got a passion.
I mean, Hollywood arts is all about like kind of like poking that fire, right? Like, like inspiring like the kids on the show to be that way, and in turn the fans and the audience watching it.
Yes, and you want to see success. And there's a formula in entertainment: conflict, struggle, success, conflict, struggle, success. But you got to have success in there, otherwise no one wants to see someone fail all the time. You want to see success.
I'd much rather have my vendors, like, I mean, yes, of course I want to be successful, but I equivalent my success to the success of the people that I support.
That's amazing. How long have you been in this field with the groceries and protecting vendors and whatnot?
So I started researching and started like doing everything for the company in January 2021. And I actually didn't tell anybody except for my fiance about what I was doing, because I've had so many business ideas and all these sort of entrepreneurship ideas growing up, but I never like actually put pen to paper and publish something like in that way. I published stuff, but in that way. And I was just like, okay, if this is like legitimate, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to tell people until like 6 months from now when I'm
smart.
Yeah. And then when I told my parents, I was so like anxious. I was so anxious because my dad is successful, and I grew up like having a successful person in my life to look up to, but also kind of revere. And my brother and I, we've talked about this too. Like, we always thought we would never be as successful as our dad. Like, he would always be the most successful person in our immediate family. And so it's just like, okay, when I tell them, I'm going to be incredibly anxious, but it would be a huge stress relief. And my dad was not only so supportive, as was my mom, but not only were they so supportive, they were absolutely in awe. And I don't think I remember the last time my parents were in awe of me. So
it doesn't happen very often.
So I felt better about my own, like, my own experiences, and also my own like perspective on it and how other people would perceive me and my family.
Yeah, and it made you realize it's not a competition.
No. So actually, to go off of that, so I'm actually really good friends with one of my competitors. So there, I have a chocolate vendor friend, her Zimp chocolates.
Okay.
I sent you one of hers, I think.
Oh yeah, we loved it. We're going to talk about that too.
You will see more of her at my wedding. But she has a retailer down in Chilliwack, BC. I'm based in Vancouver, BC, so it's like an hour's drive. And when I walked in, I'm like, crap, they're a competitor. They have a lot of Canadian things. They're doing very close to what I'm doing, but they're vegan. And I'm not vegan, but I have a lot of vegan products because most of my customers are vegan. And then I like go up to them and I'm like, do I not say anything? Do I say something? Like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm just an imposter in your store. Like, I don't want to like, I don't want to present myself in a negative or a deceptive way.
I totally get it.
And then I go to the owner and be like, hi, my name's Anna, I'm your competitor. Photos of your products because I want to carry them.
And it worked out fine.
Yeah.
They're not only one of my closest friends, and they'll be at my wedding. You will meet them.
All right.
But we do a lot of business events together, and we both have the same values and same thought system that competitors don't have to compete with each other. They can help each other because at the end of the day, we have the same goal in mind.
Amen.
I was just about to say that it's so old school that you have to hate your competitor, fight against your competitor. How come you can't get together and work together and build ideas and strength together?
Yeah.
It's a new day. That's what I love about young people. They see things differently.
Yeah, and you look at a lot of companies that are named like that. They'll have two names. They'll have like, name some companies that have so and so and so and so. A lot of law firms.
Thinking of a tax firm like Jackson and Hewitt or something like that, but they know taxes or whatever, so
they joined forces and became bigger than they would have been separate.
Get that bigger refund.
Yeah, and you said they're from Chilliwack. Chilliwack reminds me of, it must be crazy cold.
Yeah,
it is. BC is cool, but if anyone will tell you that like Ontario, like they get the worst of it. Like it's still snowing there or something like that, and it's like April. My brother lives out in Ontario, so
God bless his heart.
And you mentioned your brother, so I have to mention his syrup. You sent us. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I don't have it on me though because he sells out of it. Thank you so much for buying that. It made his day. It made my day too.
It made my pancakes.
Okay.
It was delicious.
Wow.
I thought Andre's grandma was afraid of pancakes.
But Marilyn loves them.
The character.
Only the character. I will eat a pancake like it's a frisbee. I'll just toss that whole bad boy in my mouth.
Yeah, she bought me a waffle maker, so I make waffles, and I love to see the syrup, go into the crevices and the waffle.
Oh my God!
Oh, because pancakes they kind of run over, but the waffle they kind of settle in.
Oh gosh, you're making me hungry.
I know.
Right? I'm like,
did I send you pancake mix too?
I believe you did in that unboxing, which kind of takes us to the next question.
Yeah.
Percy and I totally appreciate the box of groceries.
Oh man, you gave me stuff I've never seen before.
It was my first unboxing experience online, and right after we did the unboxing, we dove into those products.
The granola. I love the granola, man. That was awesome.
It was, I can't even say the word, how much pleasure we got out of opening up those products,
things we never
showing them before to people, and just something you would do anyway when you come back from the grocery store, but it had a total effect on your social media. It had an effect on us because we got to try products. I never would have thought of doing something like that. And now you are like helping us explore the unique products of Canada.
Yeah.
We love the popcorn, corn on the cob, the coffee.
I've never seen that before. I'm telling you.
It's really popular in Ontario. like other people in BC are like, what is that? I've never seen that. I'm like, it's really like Ontario is like obsessed with that kind of thing in my experience, anyway, and I don't eat popcorn.
Yeah, it's amazing. Your online presence shows you're an advocate for vendors. You just shared that. Can you tell us more? I mean, do you just have a passion to help vendors, or is that something in you?
Like in general, I've always like, you know, helped the little guy, but vendors aren't always the little guy. They're just the oppressed guy or the girl.
Right.
But like, yes, thank you. So growing up, something that my dad's company did is that every single year for around the holidays for Christmas, he and all of his employees would go to the local Target or the local Walmart, and we'd have $20,000 that he would put away of his own money, but like for his company, like company profits, aside to help the Christmas tree angel, like the Salvation Army tree angel thing.
Wow.
Garden shop for them. And so I grew up doing that every single year, and he would spend he would put that company profits down into it, and he wouldn't do it because it's a tax write-off. He'd do it because it's the right thing to do.
That was in his heart.
It was in his heart.
Bless him. No wonder he's so successful.
I can't wait to meet Peter.
Oh, man.
No, that's his middle name.
That's okay.
I
like it.
Go by it. He's going to be like, what?
I won't call him that.
Told you that?
I'm going to call him honey.
You told them
he has a thick Australian accent too. But no,
I'm going to call him Dad. I mean, he just sounds. I totally get you.
Person. He sounds like
I totally get you. Person. Yeah, but go on. We didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, man.
So he was donating this money to the.
Yeah, and he would include all of his employees and his kids, of course. And it was my favorite thing to do, and it became a tradition for me. But when I was 18 and I moved out, it wasn't like, well, first off, he sold his company in 2011. So that was way before I turned 18. But when I turned 18 and moved out, that was one of the main things that I missed. And I started to realize the like levels of poverty in our community. And I would save up for the entire year to do make a fantastic Christmas for a local family in need, even if I was struggling with money, because my parents aren't the kind of like, yes, they were in the like upper wealthy class because they started a very successful company, but my money is not, or their money is not my money. And we knew that, and we grew up knowing that we have to earn our own way.
That's smart.
And I think that's a huge disadvantage that wealthier, even corporate families put on their kids, because when they're put into this idea of the world that everything can just be handed to them, we're going to get a lot of Karens, but the poor retail employees that have to deal with that, someone that works in retail or has but two, you're not helping them, you're putting them in such a disadvantage into their own abilities to be successful in their life, like relationally, socially, economically, everything.
It's a handicap. It's a handicap, absolutely.
And but anyways, and so every year since I was 18, I would do that. So I create Christmas for people. And when I moved to Canada in 2020, I sponsored a family, an Indian family, and they were my first Indian family. So the reason why I mentioned that is because my best friend is Indian, but aside from that, I don't know anything about their culture.
I don't either.
I didn't really know what to like give them other than like what they told me that they like. And
that's how you do it.
Yes. And not only did they invite me to be a part of their Christmas, and like they fed me and my fiance at the time, who was my boyfriend at the time, now he's my fiance. Sorry.
Yeah, babe.
Handle your business, baby.
Now I'm still friends with them. It's 3 years later, and we're still really good friends. And I've learned more about their culture from them. I still help them out like throughout the years. Especially because I was given the ability to do that when I moved to Canada and the program that they have here. I've been able to nurture relationships with the people that I sponsored. So it's not like a one done and deal. Like I actually care about them and helping them throughout their lives. And for the past 3 years, like they've struggled still a lot financially, and I'm still there to help them.
Hard times.
Yeah. True friend right there.
Wow. You are truly an angel. I mean, you have so much give inside of you, and these days you run into so much take.
Yeah, all about me.
Exactly.
But that's a big thing too. I've unfortunately encountered lots of people that just take, and people who are generous with their time and their heart and everything. They fall victim to that a lot, and I fell victim to that a lot. So I've learned to put up more boundaries and be more like self-aware of how other people have manipulation tactics. But at the end of the day, like I'm still going to help people. Like,
right. But you're going to have a gauge on how much help to provide. You develop an awareness or a muscle to be able to tell which direction to go with, and some
who
people.
To help. That really, it helped her to go through seeing both sides.
Yes.
So you can almost instantly tell if somebody is sincere or not about what they want to do.
That's true. That is so true.
Help somebody if they just want something from
with social media, it is so easy that what they got terms like catfish and all these different ways that people can even make money or guns or all kinds of things now, just using social media or computers or different things like that. It's a crazy world. So it's good that you have a way of gauging what's sincere, what isn't sincere, and you don't let that damper your desire to help.
That's the key. Don't let it damper who you really are.
Exactly, because that's who you are.
Just be more careful. That's all.
I get that sense. That's who you are.
Thank you.
You're definitely a giver.
She can't help it.
My fiance has learned a lot because he's Chinese, as you know, and Chinese culture is very like guarded, and especially when it comes to like involving themselves in other cultures, they're just like, nope, can't do it. We're just going to And to be fair, especially with the COVID pandemic, like the amount of Asian hate that there is, like just simply because oh god,
it doesn't make sense.
Dating someone who's Chinese, so it's really common for Chinese women to date like Western men because they're getting themselves out of what is usually an oppressive or submissive culture. It's really uncommon for a Chinese man to date a Western girl because Chinese men are kind of like bred into like they have to continue the Chinese line. They have to so it's so interesting dating and marrying into a whole other culture, because I learned so much, he learned so much, and he's not used to like my like a generosity nature or a friendly nature, and I had to basically teach him how to be social because he's such an introvert.
You're very open, and that's the total
I'm an
opposite.
open book, and he's not. He's very open-minded, don't get me wrong, and he's an incredible man. But it's really hard for other cultures to other cultures that are more guarded to open themselves up. And in some ways it's really hard for our cultures to do that too, because we hear about that all the time in the media in the States, for example.
That's true. And that's a fascinating subject. I'm trying to get my granddaughter to do a podcast with us because she's in an interracial relationship. And I am very curious about what she encountered and how they dealt with it. It could either make you a stronger couple, or it could eventually break you up because it's such a hassle. So we're looking forward to talking with her about that. And I'm sure it made you guys a stronger couple just because of your personality alone. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. You wouldn't be with him if he wasn't. I'm sure he is. I can't wait to meet him, but he's blessed to have you.
Thank you.
Just like you're blessed to have him.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
I'm so blessed to have him.
Oh, we can't wait to meet him. Talking about meeting, you introduced me to being a product influencer. I know nothing about that. I just know we have a lot of people following us and doing comments and likes and things like that. But you're working with me to introduce me to Canadian vendors and helping them advance their business. And I'm very excited about that. How did you get into connecting vendors with influencers, or is this something you've always done?
So honestly, influencer culture makes me incredibly uncomfortable. It
it is crazy.
Everything about influencer culture I've always hated, like with a strong passion, hated.
It's crazy.
It's to me, I've always seen it as being shallow or just like whatever you can get for free. But my life motto, and I've lived by this for the past 5 years and keep going, is to lean into the discomfort. If you're uncomfortable, you're growing, but if you're comfortable, you're stagnant. And it's really important for me to grow as much as possible, and not like grow like I'm just growing, learning, understanding, seeing, and listening. Yes. And so influencer culture is really common, especially for food in Vancouver area, because Vancouver is very much a foodie city.
Nice. And
I noticed that I basically noticed that there was a need or a desire for it by a survey I did for my vendors, because on my website people can sign up to be contacted for future markets, which I would love to get into at some point. And kind of like tick off what kind of events or festivals or whatever they would be interested in. And a lot of people said like an influencer collaboration meetup, that sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, this makes me incredibly uncomfortable, so I'm going to do it.
I love it.
Something else.
I love it.
And now I have to actively seek out like local influencers, and like I go through TikTok all the time. It's like my favorite thing to do. It's why I get no sleep. And I have to like screenshot if they're like, oh, they said that they're from Vancouver. Okay, I'll contact them later and look them up. Oh, this is what they're interested in. Okay. And my perspective on influencer culture completely shifted. So like I said, I thought that they were shallow, horrible people that just like get things for free. But I've honestly only met one person that said that, and then was like that. And I've contacted over 50. And
wow.
Then, another person was just like, and this was someone that I followed, and I was just like, I was so excited that they responded. And like, I don't care about fame at all, but I just really like his content. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, will you pay me $800 to attend?
Oh my God.
No, you're getting things for free. You're talking to people. You're creating opportunities for yourself. No, I'm not going to pay you $800 to attend.
That's
the cost of the venue rental.
It might be that Queen song. I think it's Queen that I want it all. I want it all. I want it all.
Yeah, and I want it now. I want it now.
Yeah,
she turned it into a business, I guess.
Well, so this event that I'm doing is completely not for profit, and I'm not a registered nonprofit, so don't like. But what I'm doing with this event and other markets is that I'm creating these opportunities for vendors at cost, and I organize it. I put all like at cost as in like the cost of the event, like not the cost of my time. And I average at 18 hours a day.
That's a lot of work
organizing this. Yeah. Wow. It is.
It's a lot of work.
This is the first event of its kind that I know about, and I'm learning from it. But I organize markets throughout the Fraser Valley and Metro Vancouver area, where vendor booth fees are at cost, because market organizers make a profit off of vendor booths.
They do.
That's wrong.
We've done book fairs and things, and we had to pay.
Yeah.
And in this area, the average is like, you're lucky if your vendor booth fee is $90, but the average is between $200 to $700 for a vendor booth.
Wow. So do you find your do you find your prior relationship helping vendors? Does that tie into what you're trying to do? Is that helpful?
Exactly. So one, I don't have to pay all these outrageous fees to attend a market. I can create the market myself and kind of like create the opportunities for me and for others.
I like that.
But at the same time, like I have experience in event planning and I have experience in networking. So that's what I'm doing. I used to joke that I've been networking since I was 2, because I would go to trade shows and events with my dad.
25 years.
What's that? Oh, the TV decided to come on by itself.
I'll take care of it.
She'll take care of it. That's just somebody trying to stop you from doing what you're trying to do.
Totally.
Yeah, this is so fascinating what you're telling me. That's right. Come on, girl. I am just fascinated by what you're telling me, because I too have seen people being influencers and doing all this kind of stuff. And Bennett will tell you, Percy and I are very open. If someone say, hey, can you do this? we'll say, yeah, sure. We never think about charging or anything. We're just having fun. We love talking to GrandFans and finding out what you guys are doing. We just are so fascinated with how brilliant young people are. Bennett is also a writer. He's a creator. You guys have that in common.
Amen.
It's just having the ideas that keep coming forward for you, and the way that you're so service minded, how you want to help, how you want to make things better and easier for people. It's just it's a quality that past generations seem to have lost.
Yeah, we need 10,000 more just like you.
Exactly.
Mean it, man.
It's so refreshing. You're so inspiring. You really are. I mean, do you have any tips or suggestions you want to share with others starting a new business? Or
like yours?
So I've always wanted to be a philanthropist, but I didn't have the stacks of money you need to be a philanthropist. But traditionally, a philanthropist is someone that just donates money to an event that's already high class, and you don't need that. You don't need to have stacks of money to donate to like a museum or whatever. You need to have stacks of love, and that sounds super weird, but honestly, like, you just need to have a passion. You need to apply it. And I find that there are definitely times. So I'm a big advocate for mental health. I go to my therapist twice a month. Yeah, twice a month.
That's huge. That's huge.
And it's so important, especially when creating a company, that you talk to a therapist, regardless of your mental health status, regardless of if you have a diagnosis or you don't, or if you have anxiety or you don't, or you think you don't need it, you do. Because the number one thing that a therapist will be is the person that you can talk to about everything you can't talk to about to other people.
Yes.
Especially if you're worried about proprietary or like stuff like that. And they can give you the multiple perspectives that you don't think of when you're in that situation or in that headspace.
All right.
And I could imagine there's a lot of rejection involved when you're starting a new business and putting new ideas out there.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things, honestly, I would say this to anybody. So because I started my company in January and officially launched it to the public in November it wasn't 2021, it was 2022. Crap, the years that go by. It's still 2023. But I've been telling people 2021. Crap. But
that's okay.
It's okay.
I don't even know how old I am. So
wait till you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I was just 40. Wait till you get our age. You're gonna be like, man, I was just 40.
I know.
What am I doing being 60?
Why does my back hurt?
You watch.
Oh, goodness.
It never ends.
I did not invest into my company all at once or even within like a month. I stretched it out. A big thing too in retail is that a lot of retailers or people who purchase products will be offered a thing called net terms, which is mean that they pay in the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever. And I don't like that. One, because it's terrible for cash flow for the company. So that's another like thing that I offer them that's different. But two, it's because I don't want to deal with a bunch of invoices at the end of a month or the end of a term. And then be like, oh crap, I spent more money than I actually thought I had. And when you're investing in yourself and investing in your company, it's really important that you're fully physically and mentally aware of how much money you're putting into it. Because if you drain yourself mentally and fiscally, you're going to completely like you're going to just like hate what you're doing. You're going to feel like you hate your life. You're going to feel like you hate what you are started. Like, you're not going to believe in yourself the way you originally did.
Yeah, for real.
And it'll make you give up. It'll make you feel like a failure, I would think.
Yeah.
Wow. It's tricky because if you don't know, it's so easy to fall into those traps that look like advantages, but they're really not. That's especially that, what does she call it? What do you call a net term?
Net terms.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I bet just that advice alone right there, someone may be dealing with that. Like right now, trying to make that decision.
Yeah.
And that's a way for them to realize that it's not a good thing. Wow, that's heavy.
And if anyone's listening there and is in that spot, talk to your therapist. If you don't have one, find one. And I know that's easier said than done, but there are lots of like resources that people aren't exactly like accessing or don't realize that's accessible, whether it be your university or online therapists, which are not the best. Don't get me wrong, they're not the best, but at least you can talk to someone or make friends, talk to your friends, that sort of thing. Like, you're not alone mentally, and being a company business owner is incredibly mentally draining.
Wow, that's huge advice. And mental health is a huge issue these days. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, Anna. I mean, we have learned so much from your podcast. Thank you. I know others have learned a lot. You are a pleasure to talk to. I mean, I'm just speechless. You're so knowledgeable. You're so giving. You're so loving. You're so ambitious. You're
brilliant.
Brilliant.
That's what I keep thinking when I listen to her. She's brilliant.
Wow. I can't wait to give you a hug.
Thought process is so internal, and then she exposes it out there because it seems like it just wells up in her, and she's got to put it out there. And that's beautiful, because a lot of people, they'll have stuff in them that they never release.
They don't know how to access it.
They don't know how to, and they would just keep it in there. Well, I thought about that 20 years ago, but I never done anything about,
But that's GrandFan. Yeah. That's why GrandFans are the best.
And that's why they're the best fans.
You guys put into motion what you're thinking about.
That's right.
What you're dreaming about, and you actually get out there and do it.
That's right.
Thank you. My goodness.
God bless you.
Anna, is there any social media that you'd like to share so people can get in touch with you? We'd love to have that.
Yes, absolutely. So of course, my website is gourmetgroceries.ca. That's GOURMETGROCERIES.ca. As well as on Instagram, I'm on Gourmet Groceries CA, and then Gourmet Groceries CA on Facebook, and Gourmet Groceries on TikTok, as well as Gourmet Markets on Instagram for all of my artisan farmers markets. And then I'll show you my really cute business card.
Oh, I love it. Look at that.
Everything is made in Canada. Then on that, if anybody wants to shop on my website, I do ship to the States. They can use GG20 off, that code at checkout, for 20% off their purchase.
There you go.
Nice.
And the stuff is fantastic.
Thank you.
And this is Victoriously Crazy Podcast. And we're on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And make sure that you subscribe. Well, are you ready for Andre's Grandma Acts Out? Because now it's time. Since we're talking about groceries, Percy is going to hand her a banana. But she's not going to know how to open it up. So she's going to figure out how to get into this banana so that she can eat it. So she's having her own personal experience with the crazy. Make sure
I'd rather have this in the Taylor Swift concert. We're good.
Oh no, you're
me too, honestly.
We're never ever getting back together. I know.
Oh my God.
Taylor Swift.
Well, the banana peel won't ever go back together.
I know, that's true. That is so true.
That song you just sang came out around the same time Victorious ended, and so the fact that the lyrics are "we are never getting back together" represents the fact that like Victorious feels like it's never gonna come back.
Don't say that.
You never know. You never know.
We need a reboot, like the iCarly reboot on Peacock. Why can't Victorious have that?
I know.
Yeah, it should happen.
They're gonna reboot iCarly. Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
Scene. Grandma, I heard you want to get more fruits and vegetables in your diet, right? Well, I got something really special for you.
What?
Oh, check that out, huh? That's a banana.
What?
Here, take it.
No, just that yellow thing with a green tip on it will not touch my skin.
You don't let it touch your skin. You open it up and eat it. Come on now. There you go. Now peel it open.
Open.
Oh my goodness.
Open.
No, Grandma. You peel the banana and put it in your mouth and eat it. No, don't eat that skin. Oh my God.
It still won't open.
Try your hands. Use your hands from the top and peel it down. Oh, Jesus. I don't want you to kill me. No, come on, give me that. What's wrong with Joe? Grandma,
I want it back.
Oh, there you go. Do it. You can do it. Yeah.
It's got teeth.
Oh my!
It's got teeth.
No, don't give me that banana. I'll eat it. Oh, insane.